There we go. Hey everyone, my name is Thomas Johnson, and I'm the founder and CEO of GetUpNGetFit, which is a wellness and fitness coaching concierge company. I'm also a C-suite advisor and investor, and you're listening to How May I Serve You, where I'm constantly on the quest to surround myself with the best coaches while learning how to better serve our executive clientele by asking them what they want and need directly. And today's guest is the lovely and honorable Dawn Lover.
Yes.
So Dawn is actually the vice president of design at Calvin Klein. She lead global
Right.
design teams by focusing on equal parts imagination and consumer preference. With a love of data and a passion for creative categories, she's able to marry the science of managing cross-functional teams to the art of crafting desirable commercial product. Dawn, you are, listen,
That's
I'm
right.
loving it. So how you
Yeah,
doing today,
that's the
Dawn?
poet.
Welcome.
I am breathing free. How about that? I
There
am
you go.
breathing free and I am taking all this lemonade building out of this moment in time.
I
Yes,
love it.
I'm really blessed.
Cool. I love it. Love it. So Dawn, I want you to tell
Yeah,
us a little bit more about yourself, right? The 2 minute
sure.
version.
Oh yeah, yeah. How I got here, right? A little over 4 decades ago, I am the product of a military background. My dad was a lieutenant colonel in the army. That's
Okay.
how he retired. And my mom is a math teacher, so that relationship worked out great because she would teach in the places that we would move. But I guess it came up, with these deep COVID conversations that I had gone to about 11 schools by the time I got to high school. Every two,
Wow.
3 years, I was off to someplace different. And I think what didn't make it feel crazy was that my family just created such a great structure for me. They're both from the South, from South Carolina
Hmm.
and Gullah Island area near Charleston for my mom. And so I had this kind of summer grounding, and then I would go back to wherever I lived, whether it would be Texas, Kansas, California. I moved a lot over the United States. So I never felt untethered from my people and from family. My friendships changed and evolved, but for the
Uh-huh.
most part, I did feel quite, secure, and always expressed myself through drawing and art. But very early on, people would be like, "Okay, girl, but what are you really gonna do?" like, like it's cute that you draw and that you're creative, but like you're so smart. What are you really gonna do? And I really took offense to that. I felt like you didn't have to be a starving artist, but
Mhm.
I understand now, people who literally left for their lives, leaving from the South to the North to work jobs, couldn't fathom taking on a job that wasn't about their livelihood or their family surviving. And so here I was, this privileged kid, grew up in the 70s and 80s, who was just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to not eat meat and make art. Like, what? So that kind of led me to wanting to go to school at a historically Black college for my undergrad. I went to Spelman College,
Okay.
shout out to historically Black HBCUs, homecoming time. But then I also went to Parsons Paris. And so I studied art, and I worked in an art gallery space and as a curator. And so art was kind of my backup job, but I really wanted to be a designer. And so I went to
Ooh.
Paris to study design, based on the fact that there weren't a lot of people of color, and not women specifically, who were leading houses of design. At the time, I only knew Willie Smith and just a few other people, and all of them went to training schools. And so I kind of followed leaders. You know what I mean? Like you,
Yeah.
you want to do something, you're like, well, how did Michael Jordan do it? I'm going to
Yeah.
North Carolina or whatever. So that's how I did it. I was like, oh, I want to do what Willie Smith was doing. And so he went to Parsons, I went to Parsons. And then it ended landed me here in New York to finish the program, where I think I learned the creative side of fashion in Europe. They're very free. They loved all my eccentricities. And
Uh-huh.
then New York was like, yo, but how are you gonna make money? You know what I mean? How
Exactly.
how are you going to survive as an artist? And I think that's kind of what helped me. What I was saying in the bio that you read,
Uh-huh.
balance the two. How do you make commerce, but how do you stay true to being artistic and have integrity? And so I think the combination of moving a lot and recreating myself through those moves, along with having some fundamental rules of how to engage with my family, created the person that you see today.
There you go. And it's such an amazing person that I'm seeing right now.
Thank you.
And that's great. So you basically had like a nomadic
Yeah.
experience, right? Childhood from
And then I kept it going.
from one place to the next. But the beauty
Yeah.
about your experience and your childhood, you was able
Mhm.
to bring everything together, like the words you use, marriage, right? You're able to
Yeah.
marriage, bring everything together in a collaborative form, right? Your
Yes.
experience, your passion for arts, and bring it into what you
Yeah.
currently love right now. And that's amazing. I'm loving it. I'm
I
loving it.
know. A little gumbo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dawn, so tell me about a typical week
Mhm.
as an executive, right? What is your week
Yeah.
look like? I know you have a lot going on right now, especially being
Yeah.
the VP of design at Calvin
I
Klein. A lot
know.
going on.
It's a lot going on. I want to also preface by saying I'm a mother. I'm a mother of a soon-to-be 11-year-old
Ooh,
daughter named Winter.
okay.
Yeah, and so that has the normal challenges as any person in this country understands about the balance between commerce and family, and making those kind of tough decisions of what works best for you. So
Mhm.
yeah, so the balance isn't just the executive. I want to say that my job is probably the least interesting thing about me. I think. Because that is just how I make supply. That's how I make commerce to do what I love. But it's demanding, right? And so,
Mhm.
as an executive, what that really means is that I manage people to do bigger projects. And so, I started off being the designer and having other designers alongside, and then you start directing designers
Mhm.
to do the work, and then you start directing mini designers to do the work, and then across different product categories. So, a typical week for me, back to your question, is literally I take a stock on Sunday, what those meetings are, and I color
Okay.
code. I'm a little OCD about that. Like, I
Okay.
like, as much as I like flexibility, I like to kind of see the landscape of what my week is going to look like.
Yeah.
And that kind of dictates a lot of things. It dictates what I'm going to wear. It dictates what my focus needs to be on a metaphysical place, like when I'm going to be able to work out around it.
Mhm.
As you know, since I'm a very happy client of Get Up and Get Fit, I really do prioritize that, and make sure that it is a part of my weekly practice. And I have to say, your service, just to kind of unexpectedly give you a plug and a commercial, has been great for me because I do get a chance to have somebody else check in and say, okay, girl, anything coming up for you this week? Which then makes me look at my calendar and see,
Yeah.
what's going to happen. And so that's kind of how I do it. I take the week, and a given week, I would say I'm on WebEx, which is now the new, office experience for those of us who work in office spaces. And then I decide where I'm useful. Like some of
Okay.
those WebExes, I don't think I'm a value add.
You know what though?
And
That's important though. I mean, just knowing the fact that um just knowing you and how your time is expended and
yeah,
where you could add value and
yeah,
where you feel that you might not need to be there, right?
yeah, yeah.
Understanding and really being able to differentiate both is so important, right? And you
It's so important.
recognize
I,
this.
I do. I recognize my energy supply. I
There
think
you
I
go.
think that's the biggest piece of it, is that based on knowing that the week could be hectic and unexpected, it doesn't have always a ebb and a flow. Some are calmer, some are more.
Mhm.
I know that in order to have energy, I need a couple of main factors, right? I try
Yeah.
to keep it small.
Mhm.
I need sleep.
Yes.
I need exercise, or a
Mhm.
way to expend energy that is constructive, I want to say, because it's not always with you. It could just be walking, it could be riding my bike, or whatever it needs to be. But I need to sweat. Something in that equation means I need to push my body in a place that is uncomfortable, because I'm going to get pushed uncomfortable with my mind,
Yes.
but
Mhm.
my body also needs to be prepared. So I do think about that on a week to week schedule, and I color code it, and I say, hey, where is the green, which is the workout color, on my weekly schedule? And if I don't see it, that's when I give you a ring and say, hey man, can you move it to
Yeah.
move it to a different day?
You know me
And you,
contact Matthew and like try to figure out the
Matthew,
schedule.
yes, yes,
Definitely.
can you
So
work
so
it out for
Dawn,
me?
so knowing how hard you work and how full your schedule is, right?
Yeah.
Have you experienced health and wellness challenges despite everything you have on your plate? Because I know you just mentioned You have you're very detailed in your schedule when it comes to
Yeah.
Your daily activities, right? But
Yeah.
in the beginning, right? Were you experiencing any type of health and wellness challenges because of your schedule?
Yeah, I think my challenge from the beginning, I think it's not even fair to talk about my work life without talking about COVID, right? And to talk about the fact that this isn't normal to have my work in my house. I really prided myself on separation, and when I was time to be a parent, I would be wholly parent, no side conversations with work, no bringing stuff home, to what it is today, right? And so I think that was the health challenge, the mental health workout of how to separate energetically a place that I found sacred. My house is my sacred thing. I didn't mix, for the most part, workouts here. I didn't mix work here. It was only a place for rejuvenation and focus on my child and my family, you know?
Yeah.
And so to now have to balance all the things that I said in one space or one area, I think that was it and is it, because that led to buffering through food or buffering through staying up late and saying, like, rebelling a little bit, like, I'm going to watch TV now that I've worked most of my day and I don't want to feel like I'm in, kind of, I felt like I was in a startup at my job. Even though I had been working there for 6 years, I felt like I was literally starting with brand new ways of thinking and tools that required my constant attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it was invading my sleep. It was invading my everything. It was stopping me from working out when I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I think that was the challenge. And then the way out of that, I don't know if that was the question.
Yeah,
actually, how did I do it?
Yeah, that's my question actually. So with all the challenges coming to the forefront, right? What have you done to overcome these challenges, right?
Yeah.
That right there is something that you have to share. We all want to know. We all want to know.
Yeah. How do I do it, right?
Yeah,
I think I'm always doing it. I think it's a practice. I don't think it is a linear experience of problem solved. I think that it is agile, and I think that's part of how you solve it, right? Is that you start thinking differently. You don't see it as this is happening to me as much as I get to work out from home where my daughter is near and I can support her, right? I get to manage my teams in a personable way where there's less distraction by office politics, right? And so I think the first operation was I had to work on my mind. I had to work on my mindset about what was happening to me. I acknowledged the trauma of having my house invaded by FedExes all the time and DHLs. I'm so glad that nothing's happening right now. I'm not pulled away with the DHL, but being able to separate in my mind that this isn't an assault. This is an opportunity for me to be agile and to learn something that will prepare me for a new future. So I think the first step was my mindset. And then I think the second step was reading Marie Kondo years and years ago about how finding joy in simplicity and finding value in what you use every day and what how close to you, your clothes, etc., is something that can permeate how you look at your house in general. And I think establishing my house as a place of beauty and as a place of, oh my God, there's the DHL. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
That's one of the I guess one of the, I won't say problem, it's not a problem. It's one of the
opportunities
when it comes to working from home, right?
Yeah. So that is the thing, not to see that as an assault, but to see that as, oh my God, mindset, I have a job where I am so important that the company has prioritized sending me mail at all times of the day.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
So mindset, and then ultimately finding joy in my space and finding purpose in everything that was in my life. And if it felt like clutter, which is still a struggle for me to figure out how to get rid of it, I did that with my schedule and I did that with my house, how to kind of get rid of all the noise and focus in on what was actually supporting what I value.
Yes. And so you so eloquently stated this, right? Like what you just said right now is so profound. really understanding that and really coming to terms with it and being honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. That's so important. And thanks for sharing that with us, Dawn. Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, what advice would you like to give to other executives about staying on top of the game, about staying organized, and keeping like their mindset and their health at the forefront? You know.
Yeah, I'm going to ponder it while I come back and grab this package.
Okay.
Hi, thank you. Hi, take care. You guys are really getting like a front row seat.
Listen, this right here is the life and time of the VP of Calvin Klein, Don Glover. You get to see it nowhere else than here with Thomas Johnson, right? Live. This is dope
That
right
is
here.
so funny that I said that you guys didn't see it, and then on cue. God bless everybody who's essential. Let me just say that first and foremost, right? Like that's no joke. Like what they're doing is saintly. So what would be my advice, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Who find themselves in situations similar to me as an executive, and maybe just as someone who's managing a lot, even if it's not executive level. I think having a safe place to flatten your feelings is crucial. And when I say that, it can be, for me, I'm a visual person, so I do like writing and sketching and all that stuff. So I have a passion planner. I have something literally that's physical that I write down, but it could be digital. And just a place to kind of put in context my feelings along with what I'm going to do about it. Because I think everybody needs to allow themselves to have their feelings, right? They can feel stressed, or they can feel overwhelmed or sad that they're not seeing their families, or et cetera, whatever those feelings are. But then there's a moment where that's got to turn into some kind of action to move forward. And I think everybody can just do that kind of accounting weekly, maybe daily, maybe every other day, but it's some kind of practice, some kind of discipline of flatting everything out, right? And being able to star or prioritize where the work that you can do is. I think it's important to separate out what you have control over. I think for an executive who, in my case, kept growing in my job, and you got to see that in a couple of years. I started off with this thing that I did really well, and I'm like, yay, give me a gold star, I'm so great. And they're like, oh girl, no, we're gonna give you more work. We're gonna give you more areas, like do it again. And you're only as good as the last, money making thing that you did. So you got to get yourself out of that hamster wheel and establish where the value lies in what you're doing. And I think that becomes the key for how you manage the stress. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that your focus and how you take it on changes. And that's a mental health game changer for me. And I think had I been able to time travel, this Dawn back to the 2-year previous Dawn. I mean, obviously I got here, so whatever, like I figured it out. But if somebody had kind of focused me in on that, I think I would have been appreciative of that. Like if someone had just said, hey girl, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. Don't fight that. Just have a calm place to put it, and then to daily practice to move towards something different.
There you go. No, it's all about the journey, right? It's about the journey. Learning how to appreciate the journey, and not only focusing on the end goal. It's what life is really about, because we learn from the journey, we get better, and we learn to overcome. And also once you go through the journey, then you could go back and teach others, right? Now you're the veteran. Now you're the veteran.
You better teach others, and that's I appreciate the platform you're giving me, because I do think it's important, because that's when you master it, right? When you actually share it is when you actually are like, oh, that actually works. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing that, and you think about it, right? You take that time. But I think the other thing that helped me, which wasn't necessarily me going back and telling myself, but it was Steve Jobs' last writings, that he kind of summarized his own life. And he really keyed in on this idea that he spent his energy wrong, right? And that he put so much energy in creating what we now appreciate about his genius, which sacrificed his family, right? And sacrificed the people that he wished he had more time to get to know even. And that was more precious than anything he could buy because he couldn't buy his life. I remember him, I can't remember the quote, but he was just kind of like, I have all the money in the world. I have, I could get a transplant. I could do all these things. Doesn't mean it's going to save me. Right.
Yeah,
And so did I value the right things? I think about that a lot. When I think that I can't take it, or I'm over tired from it all, I just think about that. I'm like, well, as long as the 90% of who I am is truly being nourished, then I could probably do anything with that 10%. Like,
you know what? That's such a beautiful way of owning your life right there, because you have something to weigh on. You have something to keep you accountable, right? Which we all need accountability, right? Hence why I created my company. But Dawn, thank you for coming on this platform. You actually are a second guest, right? Thank you for coming on. How may I serve you? And
my pleasure. Anytime.
I really appreciate you sharing your story, and I'm looking forward to you coming on again, because you're amazing. There's so many facets to Dawn Glover. So right now, to the listeners out there who haven't gotten the chance to meet Dawn Glover, right now she's rocking blue hair, and these amazing glasses. Her fashion tip is on a whole nother level, right? So when I mentioned the VP of Designs, she's living her title.
My friends say that I look like I'm from the future and it's 2020.
I love it. So listen, if you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to share it with someone who might benefit from this. And last but not least, Dawn, how may I serve you?
How may you serve me? I think by reflecting back my life, being a mirror to what I am and what I accomplish. Doesn't mean anything without that, without the reflection of the people that you spend time and that you connect with. So that's all I need.
There you go.
I just need to get watered and sun. That's it.
The life basic necessities. I'm loving it. Dawn, thanks again for coming through, and it's been a pleasure. And I always love having our vibes, right? Our conversations. So just keep living, thriving, and keeping you.
I'm glad to share it with your peeps, and anytime, really. Thank you. What you do is such a service to me, and I want to serve you. So thank you.
You're awesome, Dawn. Take care.
All right. Bye.